According to BibleStudyTools.com, adoration by definition is an intense admiration culminating in reverence and worship, together with the outward acts and attitudes which accompany such reverence. Basically put, adoration is having an intense love for something or some being. This site also states how there are both subjective sentiments or feelings of the soul that go into adoration, as well as physical expressions of such sentiments, and in outward acts of homage or worship. The definition of worship, according to Christianity.com, states, worship is to honor with extravagant love and extreme submission. The article then expands on this by basically saying true worship, in other words, is defined by the priority we place on who God is in our lives and where God is on our list of priorities, and true worship is also a matter of the heart expressed through a lifestyle of holiness. Our group's focus on adoration is dealing with the topic of wealth. This means that people are worshiping things such as money and materialistic possessions over God and choose to greatly pursue these things because they believe it will ultimately be the thing that fulfills them most, rather than God. Some examples of this would obviously be worshiping not only money itself, but the idea of obtaining lots of it, to the point that we cannot ever have enough and we always want more. Other examples as well are materialistic things money can buy, such as a house, a car, and this whole idea of how money can control people's lives is the main focus of our group regarding this topic.
In this section, I will be talking about how society has pushed us as people to have an adoration for wealth. Sadly, most of us have fallen prey for the love of money. Here's a few good ways to know whether your love of money is trumping over more important things in your life, such as God. The first thing is that you won't be able to stop thinking about money. The obsession with wealth is a really great way to know if you're idolizing money over the other things that are more important. You know you're in trouble when you enter the make it or die trying phase. When you are willing to do anything ungodly or illegal in the pursuit of wealth, you know God has been replaced by money in your heart. In an article written by Harvard by Christina Pauzé, she adds in a quote from Robert Putnam that states, "Smart poor kids are less likely to graduate from college now than dumb rich kids. No, this is not because of the schools, but because of all the advantages that the rich kids get due to the money that they do have." According to this article, wealth is one of the leading sources into getting people where they want to go. At least that's what society has led us to believe. Christopher Jenks believes that the last 30 years of rising American inequality due to wealth can be contributed to three key factors. The first factor is the decline in jobs and unemployment rate for less skilled workers, which has increased the number of households with children but no male breadwinner. The second key factor is the demand for college graduates is outpacing the pool of job for candidates, adding the gap between the middle class and the upper middle class. The third key factor is the share of income gains flowing to the top 1% of earners doubled as a result of deregulation, globalization, and speculation in the financial services industry. Having an adoration for money can lead people into doing things that are very unethical and that they normally would not do. An example of this is within the 2020 political race, all of the chaos and havoc that has been dealt with due to money in the race between Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
We start with the question of what exactly is dehumanization. Dehumanization in normal terms is the process of depriving a person or group of positive human qualities. In terms of relation to wealth, it essentially is referring to how money can affect a human as an individual. Dehumanization takes place when one person begins to treat another as if they are not as much to be treated with basic humane rights. To quote the book Dehumanization, Understanding the Paradox of Human Interaction, to regard individuals as human beings is to be appreciative of the fact that they are self-determining beings, and it is to behave toward them in ways that testify to this appreciation. Dehumanization is basically the failure to realize that others are people too. The book also says the principle of conduct associated with the attitude of respect for people is applicable only when those with whom people deal and recognized and appreciated as human beings, as having the capacity to be self-conscious, self-monitoring, reasoning beings. In social psychology, dehumanization is defined as the process by which one person or group views others as not worthy of humane treatment. Wealth can have a huge impact on the psychological aspect of dehumanization. When someone has wealth, it makes them feel superior to anyone who has less than them. There are multiple studies done that help support this claim.
Bailey's right. There are a lot of studies that have been conducted showing how wealth can lead to dehumanization. Brian Lucas and Rachel Ryan, assistant professors at the University of Toronto, look at this concept a lot deeper. They look at how the pursuit of money affects the way people see themselves, more in specific, how it can lead to dehumanization. Within one of the studies, there were 160 MBA students, and they were asked to prepare a negotiation strategy for a hypothetical job in the future. Half of these students were told to prioritize two monetary goals. They were given stock option and salary. And the others were told to prioritize non-monetary goals. We're looking at the location at which they will work at and the vacation time. Participants then complete a self-dehumanization at the very end. Students who prioritized monetary goals reported feeling significantly less human than those who prioritized non-monetary goals. So what this is saying is that the people who prioritized their stock option and salary, they didn't feel as human as those who cared more about their vacation time and their location of where they work. These altered perceptions have consequences not only on self-dehumanization, but also on relationships within the workplace. Within another study, there were 260 working adults completing a job offer negotiation similar to the first one. After prioritizing non-monetary goals and monetary goals, participants responded to the questions about their preference for close coworkers. So what exactly does that mean? Examples would be coworkers who ask personal questions or make a lot of eye contact throughout the work. Workers who prioritize the monetary goals reported a significantly higher preference for distant coworkers. They say that when people feel less human, they're less likely to want to interact with a close coworker. So what exactly this study is saying is that people who care more about their monetary value, they don't really want to have a close relationship with their coworkers. Where on the flip side, the people who care more about the non-monetary value, they care more about that personal relationship they have within the workforce. So in conclusion, these effects can happen because of the antagonistic tension between self-focused values, such as money prioritization, and other focused values. When you prioritize self-focused values, concerns about others become less salient. And when you prioritize other focused values, concerns about the self become less salient. You can't be fully self-focused and other self-focused at the same time. So to get short and sweet with it, money prioritization is at odds with our perceptions of human nature. So to conclude, wealth can create dehumanization. Studies have shown that when people choose monetary value over non-monetary value, they don't feel as human, and that it can infect themselves and also their coworkers within the workplace.